Come on.
The stream is live.
Did you
There
start
we
one?
go. All right. We are live. We are live and we are
Hey,
back.
Dan,
What?
did you start a stream? Because I just scheduled one.
Oh, I started one. I just started one.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to cancel ours. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I thought I was doing it.
Yeah, no. I just went ahead and
All right.
All right. We're live. I'm sorry, folks. We have had technical difficulties. In the myriad of buttons, we ended the last stream. And I hope some of you found us. Oh, Name has already found us back on the new stream. Sorry for the difficulties. Shit.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Shit. Here we go again.
This is what happens when you deal with rank amateurs. But hey, we try. We were trying to broaden our horizons. You know, sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. We were trying to, let's see, is this stuff still in here? Yeah, hey,
I think we messed it up quite a bit.
And hey, wait.
And so, my fellow Americans,
That's still there.
ask not
I never seen it like
what your country can do for you. Ask what
that's how the video starts with JFK. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're still here.
Is that
we could
cult
still
of personality?
No, that's a real speech. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a real speech made by a very dead president. But,
Very
well,
dead.
I knew that, but that's also how cult of personality starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Name has seen Fantastic Four. We have not. We're speculating. We're going to try to talk about will it be good. He says it's a 6.5, which is actually my name translate to Pied Piper.
Pied Piper.
Okay.
There you go.
So we'll start calling him Pied Piper.
Valley HBO. All right, Piper.
We won't call him
That's
PP
cool.
because that's just not going to work. Now, Tim,
There's an
do you have
Animaniacs joke in there somewhere, but you know.
Yeah. Can you see the comments from the old stream? You can read them out to us.
I can pull them up. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Well, we do.
I'd have to go into the old studio, but I think I can do that. Hold on one second. Let me
we
go
got
in.
up here as we were talking about we're gonna speculate the Fantastic Four. This is from Deadline. First step, expect it to be big with 190 to 210 global box office opening / preview. So I don't know. In these trades, they're always calling the Thursday showings the preview because they're not technically part of the opening or whatever, but it's always the numbers. The numbers that you compare include the previews. So anyway, they're looking at 210. And despite what our confident friend Jonathan said, and that we bought in to, the Superman did not open with 225. It opened with about 220 right here. This is in Deadline. Superman's global 220. All right. Further down this article, it's the 218.9. So where the truth of it is, the first number was 117. This says 220 and 218.9. Yeah, but this says 220. It also says 218.9. So the 217 was low, but the 225 is high. So we'll just land on that 220. But this one, Forbes is telling us Fantastic Four first steps box office projections far below Superman. But if you get into the text of it, really all they're saying is that FF is projected to go way below Superman or below Superman at the domestic box office and still outperform internationally. So, that 210 number, my experience is these trade publications, they work pretty closely with the studios. They usually, it's like the projections for companies. Like when you're doing your earnings calls, they always want to have a beat. So if they're projecting up to 210 for Fantastic Four, I don't see it as a wild idea that it comes in above the 220 that would put it past Superman. I mean, do you guys?
And here's the thing. The thing about it is it doesn't really have to do as well as Superman needed to do. That's the thing that I think is really important about it. It doesn't need to do as well. So am I glitching for you guys?
A little bit, not a ton,
Okay,
but some.
I might go out and
Little
come back
bit.
in.
Oh, you're
But,
frozen now.
yeah. Okay.
Someone's
Yep, I'm gonna
glitching
go out and
bad.
come
I
back.
don't know if it's my. It
All right,
could be
it's
my
me.
internet.
I'm gonna go out and come back in. I'll be right back.
All right, Jason, do you think that this Fantastic Four could go ahead and beat Superman?
I have because Superman, if I'm not mistaken, it could. It very well could. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't they say Superman was like on track to do like 225 or 250 opening week or something crazy like that?
The opening weekend was 220. That was the opening
What was
weekend.
it
Yeah,
projected
no,
at?
no, it did come in below because coming in, weeks and weeks before, they were saying global 250 to 300 is the number they had weeks before, but they had dialed that back.
Yeah, that was my
when
thought.
it came down to when it came down to the week before, they were starting to try to back that off a little bit. So maybe they are being high and optimistic. I know I waited a long time to buy tickets. Have you bought your tickets to Fantastic Four yet, Jason?
It's funny you mentioned that. I know the showing I'm going to, and just as I hit, I'll buy my 3 tickets, I sighed. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. But I went to do mine, and there were a bunch of showings sold out at my theater for Fantastic Four, which was surprising to me. I honestly didn't think there was much hype for this. I didn't see a lot coming into it.
Either.
But I mean, what do you think, Tim? Do you think it could beat Superman for the opening weekend?
I mean, it's not going to beat Superman's opening. It'll beat Superman this weekend. There's no doubt about that. But I think that it doesn't need to beat Superman's opening. I think, we're talking about a company that's got deeper pockets and resources. They don't mind pouring money down a rabbit hole. So it doesn't really need to be. Superman needed to kill it. And the reason it needed to kill it is because it was going to be foundational to a cinematic universe. This is a universe that's already established with like 30 movies, and it's in the Disney conglomerate. So it can afford to not do as well. I do think it's going to do, if I had to guess, I'd guess somewhere in the 180 range this weekend. And that would be for what this movie is actually not too bad.
So yeah,
Better
I
than
don't know.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Well, I thought that Disney and Marvel had finally hit the wall of diminishing returns, and it was all downhill. But this performance looked like it's lining up to actually be somewhat of a hit. And I think if they're calling for 210, I would not be shocked if it came in at 221 and actually beat Superman. I don't know. We have had some positive feedback from people that have seen it so far. Jarrett has been to see it, and he despises all things woke and silly, which are the two big things that have been driving Marvel fans crazy. Yeah. And he professes that it is neither. Now we will see if that is the case.
I think that one of our comments previously dealt with one of the comments that was in the queue previously was asking what did we think was what did we expect for the movie, like woke wise. And I think it's so silly that we have to even ask those questions nowadays. It's just like, do we expect it to be woke, and how woke is it? And everybody, what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is a lot of people have realized that is a buzzword that they can just use for things that they don't like. So whenever anybody says, oh, well, I didn't like this movie, well, it's because it was woke. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean anything, because they know that there's no exact definition of what woke is. Okay. Everybody's going to read into that what it is for themselves. When they hear the term woke, a lot of people hear liberal agenda. That's what they hear. And so that's a very, very broad scope. All right. That covers a lot of different things. It doesn't cover just one particular thing that makes it that way. So we're talking about liberal Hollywood. There's obviously going to be things in there that you can read into the wrong way if you look at it just through that one narrow lens. But for the most part, I think most people have been able to find enjoyment in things. So anyway,
let's see here. Name's been let's see. We got his
Okay.
name, Pied Piper. Without spoilers, today's stream. Yeah, no spoilers because we haven't seen it.
We haven't even seen it. We haven't
Yeah,
seen it
so
yet,
we
no.
couldn't spoil
I'm
it if we
going to
want
see
to.
that.
This
4
is
o'clock.
all speculation.
The
This is
only
all
spoiler,
speculation.
the only,
no spoiler.
the only
That'll be
spoiler we
next
could
week.
throw out there is something from the trailers. I know that Galactus wants Franklin. That was in one of the trailers, so which seems like an odd thing to put in the trailer. I feel like that would have been better served for me to find out when I saw the movie, but whatever.
Yeah.
He thinks that Fantastic Four will do 400 to 500. Superman has two options. The worst is 400, or it could go to 700. So,
I mean, if it gets to 7, I think it'll be okay, but I still don't think either one of those they're going to be doing backflips about. If it's 400, they just need to pack up shop and leave. There's just no. I mean, but I think we're close enough to 400
It's already at
right
400.
now.
No,
Yeah,
it's already
I
there.
think we're already there. So I don't think we even really need to worry about the 400. It's just whether or not it's going to get to the 7. I am a proponent now that I don't think it is. I think it should have started on July 4th weekend, and it would have got there. It would have got to about 8 or 9 easy if it started on July 4th weekend. But
yeah,
oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't
It would
have
have beat out Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Jurassic World likely wouldn't have released on the 4th if they had announced that they were going to do Superman on the 4th. That's the thing that just is so silly about the whole thing. But
now this
anyway.
is the problem with the movie. Does not have a woke liberal agenda, but the makers of the movie have their woke guilt. They haven't made a liberal enough movie, so they come out in the media and they say crazy liberal things, and they also do stuff like, oh, we can't possibly schedule it on the 4th of July because then people think we might have made a patriotic movie. We don't want anybody to think we made a patriotic movie. That's why Superman can't be within 100 yards of an American flag.
I mean, that was it. And look, that was
At all
150 million. That was at least $150 million mistake. At least. Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that they all feel great about their own little liberal ways that told them that releasing the movie on July 4th was not a good idea. It cost them literally about $150 million. So
they've probably the point to success.
Yeah. I mean, Superman in this era is patriotic symbols and patriotic holidays like pedophiles around schools. They just want to keep him at least a certain number of yards away, and he has to notify the neighborhood if he moves in next to a flagpole. They just don't want it to happen. And you know what? The other thing that is wide open, and I can't believe nobody's jumped up and grabbed Christmas. Is everybody that afraid of James Cameron and Avatar that they've abandoned the entire Christmas season?
Buddy, I don't get it.
He's waiting. He's got a list.
Can someone explain the phenomenon to me where people have to go see these movies? I don't get it. I never got it with the first one. As soon as I saw the first one, I was just like, what is all the hype about? And then they tried to get me on the second one, and I was just like, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that, guys. I bought it the first time. I'm not doing it this time. And it still supposedly made a gajillion dollars. And now they're trying to sell me a third one. I don't get it. I don't. There's one franchise you will never be able to explain to me why it's successful and why certain people just crawl over broken glass to go see it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
People just kept saying the 3D, but everybody's over 3D now. Nobody even pays for the 3D showings of anything.
What is this, 2009? Give me a break. You know what I mean? I can get 3D in my living room now. I don't need their special camera glasses nonsense. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I have yet to see Way of the Water. I have no idea what that movie is even about.
Me neither. I've never seen it.
We're three for three right here. None of us have seen it, And
it made a bajillion dollars. I mean, it made so much money, and I have no idea why. Who went to see this movie? I cannot name 4 people that have seen that movie. I have no idea.
And yet it's going to beat all of these movies that we're arguing about right now. It's going to outgross
for some reason
Four and Superman, maybe even the Jurassic Park movie, which I hated. I think we all hated that movie, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it's trash. It makes me really sad that I think it's going to beat Superman.
Yes, I mean, it's going to be the biggest movie of the summer. It looks like. I mean, I don't know that. Unless Stitch beats it. Stitch
Yeah,
is
Stitch
crossed
is
that billion mark.
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah,
billion.
Stitch is close there.
Yeah, and Stitch is
but
done.
Stitch was better than Jurassic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a better movie than Jurassic
no.
Park.
I'm rooting. I mean, if Stitch is our only hope to rule the summer
help us
over
all.
that horrible Jurassic World movie, then I'm pulling for you 626. You give it to him, man. But yeah, they abandoned the 4th of July. They've abandoned the Christmas season to Big Blue Aliens. I would have rather had the alien in the blue suit than the blue aliens at Christmas time.
Exactly.
That would have been a good window for Superman. But anyway, we will know shortly if Fantastic Four is going to embarrass Corn Sweat Superman. In the meantime, I don't think embarrass.
I mean, I don't think it beats it on opening weekend. I think it gets, like I said, I'm calling 180. I think that's pretty safe. And given what other Marvel returns have been this year, I think that they will think that that's successful.
Yeah.
And once again, it doesn't need to kill it because it works for a company that's twice the assets of Warner Brothers. So they can actually feel good about getting mildly close to Superman, actually.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to grow like a Superman did either because school starts back next week for a lot of places. So there won't be any weekday showing of Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Piper is each film has something good, but overall they are average projects. Such films are called chewing gum. You watch, you enjoy somewhere, you have no desire to think about them or watch them again.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because, our friend who was just texting with us today, Jonathan, is just so convinced that Doomsday is going to make $1 billion. If you don't leave the theater thinking about these characters, because the Fantastic Four, this is the center of the good guys. These are the main good guys going forward through Doomsday. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not rolling out any other ones. I mean, you got Sam, you got Doctor Strange with 1 foot out the door, Thor 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts. Yeah, you got the Thunderbolts, which nobody even, I mean, again, nobody went. We like the Thunderbolts, but nobody went and saw it.
Made under 100. I mean, yeah.
Now it's a year without comic book movies. Only from many, they were Avengers, Spider-Man, Supergirl. Okay.
Here's the thing. The thing about the Avengers movie, and the reason that I think that this movie right here is very critical. It's critical that people buy in to not just this movie, but the continuity that is going to flow from this movie. And that's where I think it's all going to fall apart. Even if this is a good movie, and the indications from a lot of things are, it's not a bad movie. Okay. I just saw Nerdrotic today. His title was Best Marvel Movie of the Year. Now look, that's
it's world's tallest midget. Come see.
Exactly. But just for him to put something like that and not put a woke, terrible, awful cinematic mess, that's good. That's a win for Marvel right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think that if people have good feelings about the movie, that's one. But if they cannot connect this universe, that's going to be where it's all going to fall apart. Because the thing that the early phases of Marvel had was they had that connectivity that you had to go see the next movie. It was one of the things that, you just could not wait for it. The clamoring was just too much. We can't wait a year. Give it to us in 6 months. We don't have that right now. We haven't had that in Marvel for a long time. And so even if this is a good enough movie, are we really going to be pushing and saying, oh, we really want to see Doomsday now? I just don't think we're going to be quite on that level. So, and that's what they need, quite frankly. If they don't have that coming out of this movie, then Doomsday doesn't get anywhere close to $1 billion, and Jonathan's going to have to take a pie in the face.
Yeah. Because what we really need is characters that you're invested in, characters that you care about and like, and you want to see what happens to them. And, we don't have any right now. The Fantastic Four is their last swing at giving us 4. We need to leave this film with 4 characters that we really care about so that we have at least those 4. because other than they would be the only ones. The rest of them. I mean, I liked Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, but at this point, I feel like I've seen enough. If you didn't play him ever again, I'd be like, yeah, that was a good run. It was a good run. I like it. So and I feel that way even about Thor. I feel like it was a good run. Maybe the last one didn't please everyone, but again, it would overall taken all together, it's a pretty good run. So if he doesn't do it again, okay. And it seems like it's pretty well wrapped up, So the only ones that you're coming in with this dangling thing that you're going to care about is going to be this four. So we got more tech. We are beset tonight with the technical difficulties.
It's because you got us on the radar, Dan, by getting all the copyright strikes. I'm going to blame you. That's what it's going to be.
Yes, yeah. So. We had the Ozzy. Oh, Jason's back.
First, our stream mysteriously ended, and now we're having all of these issues. It's crazy. So
So anyway, I do have the last stream. I have some of these comments here. I Am the Night had said, "Does the movie even matter if they plan to reboot the MCU at the Secret Wars anyways?" Now, I just read the Variety article that Kevin Feige was talking about, and he said Doomsday will be a reset. I don't think a reset is the same as a reboot. I don't know. It's not.
He was very careful in his language there. I think, and it was very calculated. If you're using it as a reset, to me that means that you may have changed the direction of where you want the story to go, but it's still the same story. A reboot is a complete tear down and start over. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the main difference, and I really don't like that. if you want me to know, because I think what he could have been talking about there was the switch from Kang, which they had a 5-year plan for Kang to really be the big bad, and the switch from that to Doctor Doom. And they're trying to pretend like it wasn't because Jonathan Majors got in trouble. That's absolutely the reason for it, guys. Okay, that's the only reason for it. They would have continued with Jonathan Majors if he had not got in trouble, but he did, and here we are. So they're trying to pretend it's because the story didn't make sense and all that, and it didn't. But it's okay. That gave them the out that they needed to go ahead and change direction into Doctor Doom, but. I don't know. I just don't know that I'm seeing how this is going to work yet. And maybe this movie will change my mind. Maybe this movie will kind of give us the introduction to Victor. We know that Victor has a lot of ties to the Fantastic Four. So maybe that'll be something that we get an introduction for. But as of right now, I'm just not seeing it. And if I don't see a really smooth transition to Doctor Doom, if it's just like, hey, he's here and now he's Robert Downey Jr., I think that's where all of us are going to kind of be like, that feels pretty forced. It feels pretty desperate. And I don't think we're going to get $1 billion worth of tickets paid to go see that. I don't know about you guys, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah. I don't think, I wish they were headed for a reboot, but by him saying reset, they want to keep going with a large number of these characters. That's their plan. They're not gonna change. They may change slight direction, but he's in that article with his shutters bragging about 7 years of plans, and we might tie back into this, and we might tie back into that. They're trying to abandon the things that they tried and didn't work. They're trying to act like they didn't mess it up, like they always knew that they were just goofing around. We were just kidding. You didn't want to see that guy again. That was just a little joke we put in there. But the one thing they're not willing to do is just abandon it and start over. They want to just kind of trim the hedge instead of pulling it out and planting a new one. They're not. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
I know exactly what it means. And here's the problem. This is the main issue that I've always had with the multiversal concept. People wonder why the comic books had to start with a multiversal concept. It was because of this. Okay. It was because they had a whole bunch of storylines that they needed to merge together. They needed to have some kind of a reasonable explanation for how all these characters existed in the same universe, but didn't necessarily ever meet. And maybe some of the timelines didn't line up. Maybe some of the characters didn't really line up. Maybe a lot of the love interests and relationships didn't add up. So what was the difference? Well, it was because we've got this multiverse that just kind of covers everything. Okay. The big problem with introducing this in the cinematic universe is now you've kind of got it introduced as something that's always going to be an excuse to just continue the existing universe instead of just tearing it down and starting it all over. And to their credit, when they introduced Secret Wars, I think a lot of us found, hey, that's where it's going to happen, because that's what happened in the comics, right? And Jonathan Hickman's 2015 run, it completely and totally condensed everything. The existence of the multiverse was given to us to destroy the multiverse. And then it became one condensed universe, and that was our thing. But right now, I feel like in the cinematic universe, what they've done is they cannot introduce these characters without feeling like they have to give them a certain amount of movies to be in. And it doesn't make sense to introduce a late character, only have them be in 1 or 2 movies, and then completely cut them off and reintroduce their character in a new continuity. That's the main issue with cinema versus doing it in comic books. And I think that they really need to get away from it. It's going to get out of control if they don't just pull the plug soon. And that's my main issue. If they don't just pull the plug on it right now, they're going to get 30, 40 characters. We already have a bunch of characters nobody cares about that Marvel feels like they've got to give multiple projects to. Nobody cares about Ironheart. Nobody cares about Moon Knight. Nobody cares about all these characters that are getting, promises of more projects. Why? Why are they getting promises of more projects? Well, because they were introduced late, and we want to make sure that they get a certain number of contracted projects. So that's silly. Okay. At this point, you need to just focus on getting a good story. And if you can't get a good story, you just need to scrap the whole thing and start over. So Jason is having a lot of issues tonight, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
His internet has gone wonky.
Yeah.
We have dropped our stream. We have just, we're, hold on. Jason is
But
back.
anyway.
But yeah, the reset. And here's the other thing with this Fantastic Four story, and let's just spend a minute here. I have been assured, Jason's gone again. Even after the assurances from friends that we trust and other people whose if they tell you it's good, you can almost trust that because they say everything is bad. So if a person whose whole shtick is to tell you everything is bad tells you something is okay, I mean, you can't trust them to tell you it's bad. But you can trust them if they don't say it's bad, it must be all right. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the problem. Here's the problem, Dan. Yeah. I don't mind the movie being good. I would love if it was a good movie. What I can't stand is the fact that it might not matter if it's a good movie. It might not blend into the continuity. I love The Matrix, all right? But unfortunately, The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions and this other movie, they all exist, okay? And it's all part of the same continuity. And I absolutely hate that continuity. It's a terrible story. And so I can't enjoy the Matrix movie knowing that those other 3 terrible movies are after it. And that's kind of where I'm at with this. It's like, this could be a good movie, but with all the garbage Marvel has given us recently, and with all the stuff that we know is coming that probably doesn't matter because we're probably looking at a reboot by Secret Wars anyway. Does this even matter if it's good? It's like Thunderbolts. We had the same discussion about Thunderbolts. We all enjoyed Thunderbolts, but who cares? These aren't characters we care about. This continuity is dying. The MCU is just dead right now. And so if it was a good movie, it almost just doesn't matter that it's a good movie. And so, I love hearing that it's not terrible. I love hearing that I could go see the Fantastic Four and feel good about it. But if it's not going to work into the greater continuity, I don't know that I care. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Are you confident, though? Because I don't know. The trailers just don't seem good to me. I don't like the Thing's voice. I don't like the way this actor plays Johnny. And it's not about interviews. It's just he doesn't seem like Johnny. He doesn't seem cocky. He doesn't seem, rash. Ben has just a totally, completely normal voice, which seems odd coming from a big rock monster. So even though I have friends and other commentators telling me it's not bad, I'm not convinced that it's not bad. Are you? Are you fairly convinced that it's not bad? I'm still afraid.
I have a feeling, just because my expectations for Marvel are so low. That's kind of where I was with Thunderbolts. It's like I'd just come off Captain America 4, and I was just like, oh my goodness, Daredevil was another thing that was happening at that time, I think. And I just thought to myself, like, there's no way I can get kicked between the legs any harder than that, and so I went into the theater with the lowest of expectations, and we're like, hey, that was surprisingly not atrocious. You know what I mean? But this movie, I don't know. I've said from the very beginning, I think that the Thing, I think that the Thing does not look great CGI wise. We'll see how it looks on the big screen. I don't know, but does not look great CGI wise. I don't know how I feel about Pedro Pascal as Reed. Still don't know how I feel about him. There are moments in the trailers when he sounds and looks like Reed. There are moments in the trailers where I'm thinking, who is this guy? This is not who Reed is. So I don't know. I'm definitely still skeptical. There's no doubt about it. I'm definitely still skeptical, but I do think that there are the bones of what could be something good here. So the fact that a lot of people that I trust have seen the movie and said it's not terrible, and that it was actually, in their words, a good movie, that's something worth noting. So we'll see. We'll see how I feel.
When they call it a reset, because by setting this movie in its own completely independent timeline, and yet it's within the same multiverse, and we know this because of the end of Thunderbolts. So it's not a completely unrelated project. I mean, and they've told us it's not an unrelated project. Their names have all been announced as being in Doomsday. Their ship shows up at the end of Thunderbolts. So it's a completely separate timeline / universe within this same multiverse. And does that mean that they have committed to following two realities closely within this multiverse going forward? We're not just going to follow the adventures of people in the mainline one. We're going to follow the adventures. I mean, unless the Fantastic Four abandons this timeline and universe at the end of this film, and then again, like, why would anybody like this movie? Like, there's no stakes. There would be no stakes then, because that universe would either be destroyed or they would be abandoning it for us to never see it again. Mm-hmm. Do they merge them? Is that what he means by reset? They're going to merge these two together and somehow.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. I think they are going to merge these two together. I think that's pretty clear. But what I really am interested in with this movie because what we've seen from multiverse to multiverse is we have seen so many different transitions for how people get in and out of the multiverse. Mm-hmm. And within this one continuity, I think it's been too much. Okay, we saw at the end of the Marvels, we saw Photon kind of breaking through that barrier in space, right? And we've seen in Multiverse of Madness, we saw America. She was hopping, because she's a multiverse hopper, and that's what she does, right? And now we're seeing the Fantastic Four, who were apparently able to just ride a spaceship through the multiverse. So I'm very, very confused as to, how these universes are going to merge. And, and then we also had Doctor Strange, who opened the portals and brought a bunch of people from other universes. There's just all kinds of stuff happening in this one continuity. And that's what's making it confusing to the average viewer. Your average viewer can't watch this and keep up. That's the main issue, right? I can't pick some Johnny off the street and say, hey, come watch this movie with me. And they sit down and understand exactly how everything is working. So I don't know that I think that's Marvel's biggest problem right now. So you got to do too much homework.
Well, that was like Kevin Feige in that Vanity Fair article saying, "Oh, people thought they had to have seen all those shows to understand Thunderbolt." That's not true. Actually, Kev, it is true, because if you go into that movie cold, that movie doesn't introduce you to who Natasha is and why you should care about her, or who Red Guardian is. Now, you don't have to have watched a show, but you have to have watched a Black Widow movie that like 3 people went and seen during the pandemic. I mean,
You
if
didn't know, you wouldn't have known who Walker was. You wouldn't have known who all these other people were, right? I mean, you had to be at the very least a relatively loyal fan in order to get anything that happened in Thunderbolts. And that's the issue. So yeah.
You've had to have watched at least 2 Captain America movies to know who the Winter Soldier is. You don't know who Bucky is if you haven't seen those films, and that movie doesn't explain that to you if you haven't seen them. And again, it doesn't explain who Red Guardian. It doesn't explain who any of those characters are. If you didn't already know who all of them are, that movie would not have explained it to you. I don't care what Kevin says. They did not even try to do that. Pied Piper is back. I advise you to rewatch F4 2004 25. Remember,
you can't make me. You can't make me watch that heap of garbage. Okay, no matter how much it's going to make me appreciate the new film, I do not care. All right, you cannot make me rewatch that heap of garbage.
Tim has rewatched that pile of garbage. Stay tuned to Slab Cinema, and for a live loop here, we have just reviewed the 2005 Fantastic Four, the 07 sequel, and the 2015 Fantastic Four. So we've had to enjoy all of those. And I will say, you're not really happy with how the thing has looked and been rendered so far. But just the design, the artistic direction beats Michael Chiklis in a rubber suit and the naked rock monster. I think that naked rock monster was a new.
Oh man, what was going on there? Anyway, and we don't want to get into
a Rocky Cod piece
in
the whole thing. I mean, no wonder he's so angry. He's not anatomically correct anymore. I would be mad at Reed too. But yeah, that was just man, that 2015 was bad. Again, could this be anywhere near that bad, Tim? Could it even
no. Like, here's the thing. Like, 2005 was like, I remember leaving the theater from 2005 and thinking to myself, like, that wasn't good. Because like I had always said, in Marvel, there was only like a few movies that I really, really wanted to see. And Fantastic Four was one of them. And I was really stoked that it was coming out. And I went and saw it, and I just did not care for it. It was not a great movie. And then 2007, when Rise of the Silver Surfer came out, I was just like, okay, and then I watched it and I was just like, oh boy, that was terrible. And then in 2015, I was always skeptical. About 2015. The trailer and all the stuff that was introduced and all that, it just didn't make any sense. But then I went, I finally saw that movie just a few days ago when we did our review, and I can honestly say that is the worst one. Okay. Yeah. There is no lighthearted moment. The characters were just way off. And I think Dan pointed out about the middle of the final fight, you're thinking to yourself, wait a second, we're almost done. Like, this is going to be it. Like, this is the whole movie after this fight is over. And it was the most depressing story. Everybody came from such a scrappy, terrible background, and it was just awful. It was a terrible movie. But anyway.
Yeah, Man of Steel garbage. F2 garbage for me. Both are masterpieces. Oh, David, he likes the F4.
He's a masochist. He's a masochist. He loves to torment himself. He's a masochist.
Yes, yes, he does. Yeah. Jason, have you ever watched the 2015 Fantastic Four film?
I think I watched halfway through it, and I fell asleep and never tried to watch it again.
Because that was one thing.
I mean, you're talking about a dude that has the same powers as Stretch Armstrong, man. If you can't make that funny at least once in the movie, he needs to do something where you just laugh that he's made out of rubber. Okay. There was nothing in that movie that was even remotely funny. Nothing. It was
Dr. Doom having
it was
that trash
so sad.
bag to his face kind of was funny, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was awful. The whole thing was terrible. So at the very least, I know this movie is not going to be that, right? It's not going to be sad. It's not going to be depressing. There will be some lighthearted moments because that's what Marvel does now. But there's also just, I think, a real admiration for the character that I'm looking for that I have not found yet in cinema. All right. I found it in the books. I found it other places, but I have not found it in cinema. And that's really one of the most important things to me is can they nail those characters?
Yeah. The 2015 was just because it dawns on you. Oh, wait, during that big final fight, one of the reasons it's so surprising that that's going to be it is because the big last fight is also the first fight. There is exactly one superhero battle like in the whole movie.
Yeah, there's like an hour and 20 minutes of just no action at all. It's like lab and going to the other universe and coming back, and
which is not the negative zone.
Breaking out of prison.
It would never be negative.
Yeah, breaking out of the prison and all that. There's all those things, but no action. No, things smashing walls, no Reed stretching all over, and it's the lamest way to introduce these characters. It makes me so sad.
We get grainy footage on a monitor that other people are watching of the Thing fighting takes.
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah, yes. Because he becomes a military asset. And we don't actually go on one of the missions with it. We just see footage that is being shown to other people.
Does the Thing say it's clobbering time in that movie?
His abusive
oh my goodness. So apparently he got that phrase because his abusive older brother, he was abused, by the way, because everybody was abused in this movie. Yeah. His abusive older brother would say it's clobbering time before he would beat the snot out of him. So that's where he got the key phrase from. Isn't that just amazing?
We wouldn't want happiness in our movie.
Yeah, we wouldn't want any happiness,
It was
hard to believe that guy got fired from Star Wars.
Yeah.
That film was absolutely 2 years after Man of Steel. You could tell.
Yeah,
you can tell. It is Zack Snyder's Fantastic Four is exactly what that film is.
Yep.
It is so much that. It is Reed saying F them kids. That is what that movie is. Everything is gray and everyone is sad.
Dude, he breaks out of the prison because he's made of rubber, Oh, look at this. I can get out of the prison. And then he never comes back for his best friend. And then surprise, surprise, his best friend is a little upset about that.
Yeah.
It's just oh man. Oh,
I didn't hear
dude, you. Name, you're killing me here, man. You're killing me. Hold on 1 second. Wait, look at this. I love Spider-Man 3. You're losing me, dude.
No,
you're losing me, dude.
No one loves Terminator 3. Nobody loves Terminator 3.
Nobody loves Terminator 3. No, nobody loves that.
No. Spider-Man 3 with the dance number. Okay. And are you honestly going to tell me that was a good movie? I mean, we had 3 villains and none of them were played well. Yeah. And then we had just a convoluted storyline. That was Sam Raimi admits it was a bad movie. Sam Raimi says it's a bad movie and the studio meddled too much. Okay.
Yeah.
So if Sam Raimi says it's bad, I think we should take his word for it. Spider-Man 3 is a bad movie. So that, and then Terminator 3, dude.
It's PG-13.
Dude. Yeah. Just Terminator 3. Terminator 3 was it was a whole other level of bad. We had just had Terminator 2, which for a sequel was really, really good.
Better than the original.
Better. Terminator 2 for a sequel it set up the whole corporate villain of Skynet and everything. It was great. Okay. And then we had Terminator 3. And then, I'll tell you, the Terminator franchise got completely derailed with that. Claire Danes was atrocious in that movie. It probably ruined her entire career. Okay. I don't think it's a coincidence that we didn't see Claire Danes for a long time after that. So anyway,
and then my hot take: the only good Terminator movie since Terminator 2, or the closest thing. I don't know if I'll call it good, but the closest thing to a good Terminator movie since Terminator 2 was Genesis. It was definitely better than Dark
Genesis was trash. Listen, Salvation with Christian Bale.
Yeah,
it's not awful. It's not awful.
Anything after 2 does not exist to me, but I will tell you what I did enjoy until they canceled it, the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh, yeah.
Did enjoy that until it was canceled. And Summer Glau. Summer Glau.
It just doesn't matter. Great. Summer Glau's there, I'm there. It's good. It's good.
Summer Glau playing an android, I'm there all day long. Okay.
Yeah. But and then that Dark Fate was awful. Dark Fate.
So bad.
That is like, that just robs everything. John Connor gets murked in the first 5 minutes.
I nearly walked out of the theater in that. I was like, you killed John Connor, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah. So he likes The Dark Knight Rises, which is overblown.
Dude, he's just trying to poke me. He's trying to poke me now.
Okay, The Dark Knight Rises is not Nolan's fault. Like, I mean, he had it all set up for Joker and...
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Joker was supposed to come back.
Perhaps he's wondering why a man would shoot a man before throwing him.
I'm just like, are you kidding me, dude? And the first time I heard the voice, I was like, this movie's going to suck. And it did. And I was, do you feel in charge? It sounds like a Muppet. Okay. You got to be kidding me, man. There are a lot of bad directions in that movie. The whole TNT and concrete thing never made any sense to anybody. The whole thing was just a total mess. So anyway.
And No Way Home tells you everything you need to know about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And the fact that Jamie Foxx is not even remotely playing the same character in No Way Home to the one.
Never.
Do you know what Jamie Foxx did in The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Because Robert Downey Jr. could have fixed it. He could have told him, you never go full retard.
Can't do it. Cannot do it. I think Jamie Foxx thought that he was in a Joel Schumacher movie in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
That's what and honestly, that's what the Amazing franchise felt to me. It felt very much like the Schumacher series, where it's just like they're trying to go almost too hokey with it, like almost too 1960s Adam West Batman kind of thing. That's kind of what it felt like with Spider-Man. And so that's why I didn't personally care for the Amazing series myself.
The first one's okay, but
I like
the
Lizard. I liked Dennis Leary. I thought he did a good job as as Captain Stacy. I did. I like Dennis Leary. I mean, he's a good dramatic actor.
Emma Stone is very clearly 30 years old.
Hey. There is no Emma Stone hate.
Yeah. And Tobey Maguire, don't get me started. Tobey Maguire, very obviously 35 years old.
Okay.
When that guy calls him a kid in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, but we
very clearly a 35-year-old man. Okay.
But of course, Flash is also very clearly at least 27.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, we don't talk about Emma Stone, okay?
Yeah. Dude,
not bad.
She's an MVP.
I do think it's hilarious watching the original Spider-Man movie back and being like, dude, everybody at this high school was 40 years old. It's crazy. Like you watch that bus scene at the very beginning and you're like, oh man, like everybody here was 40 years old. It's crazy.
With the scene I really like in The Amazing Spider-Man, I love that scene where he webs up his leg to make the crane jump. I thought that was excellent. Like, I was like, just give me that. Like,
I thought like Garfield was a good Spider-Man.
I do too. He was very quippy.
Yeah, that was the most quippy Spider-Man we have had. I don't know if he was great as Peter, but as Spidey, that was Spider-Man. He's quippy. He's a smartass.
Dude,
Nobody
I'll
else
tell
is
you,
doing
and this is a line that has since been cut from the movie in digital, but it is still my favorite Spider-Man line to this day. Is when he is wrestling Bonesaw in the first Spider-Man movie, and he says, "That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give that to you?" That
They
was
cut
Spider-Man.
that?
1000%. That
They
was
cut
Spider-Man.
that?
Okay.
I don't even
And
remember it.
yeah,
Yeah, he
it is.
does.
It has been cut from the
Disney
new versions
Plus.
that are released on digital because of Disney.
That blows
But
my mind.
that is 1000% a Spider-Man line.
Yeah.
And everybody that read Spider-Man knew it. At the
Mhm.
time when he delivered that line, that was Spider-Man to me. And they didn't do any more of that. That's what I hated about it, man. They should have done so much more of that kind of quippy humor with him. But yeah, they didn't do it.
I like the mommy and daddy are talking in the web shooter to Jameson.
Yeah.
That was also Spider-Man.
But this Fantastic Four, Jason, again, we have been reassured. We have seen that Neurotic said it's not terrible. Jarrett told us it's pretty good, and he likes to hate things. Do you feel like this might be a good movie?
I think it has the possibility to be a good movie. I mean, it doesn't look awful. The trailer doesn't look awful. It just looks kind of mid. So I'm going into it with it's going to be mid in my brain.
Yeah.
Like,
now, here's the other thing, Tim. If it is great, if it's just like really good, will your head explode because this should have been the reboot?
Yes. Here, you know, and that's exactly what we were just talking about. I mean, if it's good, does it even really matter? I mean, and I'm going back and forth with this because there are situations in which it could be good and work in the continuity and me be okay with it. And then there are situations, like 90% of the situations I'm going through in my head, where I'm just like, I don't know that this is going to make any sense if it's a good movie. So I don't know. I'm still going back and forth with that. We'll find out when the time comes. But
yeah, so
we played with sticks on the street.
Yeah. Before that, we played with sticks. So maybe he's got a lower bar to. Maybe he has.
That's right.
Yeah. If you're playing stick ball,
hey man,
Terminator 3, you feel like maybe that's.
I'll introduce you to a great movie that I know that you'll love. Name. Go ahead and watch 2003 Daredevil. You'll think it's a masterpiece. Okay. You'll think it's amazing. Yeah, that's right. Go watch the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. Go ahead and watch that one while you're at it. You'll think that these movies are amazing. Okay, I promise you.
The other guy who played Punisher,
Thomas Jane. Yeah,
Thomas Jane. Maybe you should watch that one too. You know, I mean, come on.
Dude,
hey,
I watched the Thomas.
Bad, okay.
No, I watched the Thomas Jane interview. And he's just like, "Yeah, I know the movie's terrible. We decided to film the whole movie in Miami instead of New York because John Travolta didn't want to leave Miami. So that's why the movie is set in Miami, and that's why it's terrible." And I just thought that was great, man. He just laid it all out there. Like, that's why the movie stinks.
Yeah, it's John Travolta's fault.
It's John Travolta's fault.
It's the Church of Scientology.
Thomas Jane later redeemed himself because he did a short film called Dirty Laundry. It's a Punisher short. It's incredible. It is incredible.
Hey, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. Ray Stevenson was a good Punisher. No love. Gets absolutely no love. He absolutely killed it. All right. Mm-hmm. He was probably the best embodiment of Punisher. The movie was terrible. Don't get me wrong. But Ray Stevenson killed it out of the park.
Name while you're at it. There's a rubber-eared Captain America. The Italian red skull.
Was that 91? 91.
So
I think?
if he was getting caught, if he didn't get comics till after 19, we love it. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he is the best. Yeah.
So
dude, we love Frank. Frank kills everybody. That's the rule. Yeah. So there you go.
Is the first, like, so if you're in the 90s, like, oh my gosh, are you picking up on the Clone Saga?
Yeah. Oh God!
Is that your first comics?
Yeah. Oh God! If you started Spider-Man with the Clone Saga, you have to hate Spider-Man. That's what made
Yeah.
me stop buying comic books. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm done. I'm tapped out. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm
How
out.
many Death of Superman comics did you buy, Dan?
I have 3, I think.
I have one. It's in the attic, and
It's
I've
still
read
in
it for
bag?
sealed.
so many
I have
times.
one sealed in the poly bag still. I bought a reprint that I read. And you know what? Actually, the Clone Saga did not make me stop. I went all the way through that garbage, hating it every minute. And I got like, I don't know, 5-6 months of good Spider-Man. Maybe it was a couple years. I don't know. It all kind of blends together. And then they hit me with One More Day.
One More Day nearly killed me. Like I
Yeah.
nearly that nearly took all of it out. Like I
Yeah.
was just like, huh.
So
Yeah. I was like,
so
you know
let
what?
me.
Cancel my pull list. I'm done. I'm out.
So what are your guys like
dealer,
best? What are your guys' best case scenarios for this weekend, and what's your worst case scenario for this weekend? Like when you go into the theater, when you leave, what would be the best case scenario? What would be the worst case scenario?
Okay. You go first, Jason.
Best case scenario, I say 226. Worst
No,
case
not gross. Not gross.
Oh.
For you in the movie, what is best case scenario? What is worst case scenario for you?
I actually like the characters as best case scenario. Worst case scenario is it feels like every other Disney property that I've watched since Endgame.
Mhm. Yeah.
With a couple of exceptions. Like I like Thunderbolts, but
Yeah. The best case scenario for me is that they introduce a version of these characters that feels like the comics, that feels like a squabbling family. Now, some of these trailers have felt like a family, sort of. They have not felt like a squabbling family. It's supposed to be a dysfunctional family. This is not, Leave It to Beaver. This is Roseanne. They should be arguing with each other. They should not be happy with each other. Johnny and Ben.
Great analogy.
Yeah. So my best case scenario is that they got that right. They love each other, but they fight like crazy, and that I leave the theater caring about this version of these characters, and I want to see more of them. That is the best case scenario.
I think that's it for me, Dan. That's
Yeah.
it for me too. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
The worst case is that it's exactly what I think it's going to be, is that I sit through the entire film feeling a little bit bored because I know exactly what's going to happen and, what's happening next. I know the end of the film.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts told me what happens at the end. So the only thing interesting is how we get there. How do we end up on that ship in this other universe rocketing towards Earth? And, it's a big stretch when you know the end to make that journey interesting. That's a big lift. So I don't know if they're going to be able to make that interesting. So my worst case scenarios is just because it was super woke and preachy and all this weirdness, but I've been assured that that's not it. But I'm still afraid. I'm afraid it's kind of mid. Like Jay says, like I'm sitting there like, okay, everybody's doing decent work, but like I know, and the other thing is Marvel used to follow the comics fairly well, but they knew how to tweak it enough that you could still be surprised and intrigued.
Yeah.
They could still surprise you with a plot line like the Hydra reveal and Winter Soldier and stuff like that. They could pull stuff like that and really surprise you. They haven't surprised me. I mean, I guess Endgame had a little bit, I'm Iron Man, and that was that I haven't been surprised since then. Everything follows the beats that you think it's going to follow.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of. It's going to be.
I think Marvel did a couple of things early that have kind of come back to bite them recently. They did something they did early phases is they did these well-known actor heel turns, right? Like you've got Jeff Bridges and you introduce Jeff Bridges and you introduce a mild motivation for Jeff Bridges to hate Tony Stark. And then you go on the rest of the movie and you hope people forget about that until the heel turn, right? And they did this for so many characters. They're, all well-known actors, right? They did it with Jude Law. They did it with
Robert
so many others.
Redford.
Yeah, Robert Redford. All these guys. And it's always you always had a well-known actor, and then they would just heel turn about 3/4 of the way through the movie, right?
Mhm.
So because of that, I think that they feel like they need to do some kind of like 4-dimensional chess in trying to introduce the way that these characters and bad guys come about. No, comic book stuff is not that complex, man. I mean, the reason that it landed well in the early phases is because we like those kind of simple stories that you can kind of just say, this is the bad guy, this is his motivation. We'll wait on the heel turn and we'll go. I feel like my best case scenario for this film is going to be like you guys have said. I want to come out of this film wanting more of the Fantastic Four. That's my best case scenario. Like, man, I can't wait to see Johnny again. Like, maybe he'll show up in the next movie or in a credit somewhere. Or I can't wait to see the Thing in the Hulk, kind of scrapping back and forth. That would be fun. Those are the kind of things that I'm really intrigued by. Like, maybe that would be really cool. My worst case scenario is that I'm not going to like these renditions of the characters and care whether or not I see them again.
Yeah,
because this is one of my favorite comic IPs. So
yeah,
if I don't care about them after this movie, I think it's you can pretty much just write the story. Marvel's done. They need to reboot. So
yep. So look, I think the thing that I worry the most. Like, here's something else. Like Dan said, we know the end of the movie. Is the end of the movie Galactus wins and they just leave everybody to get eaten? Like, is that the idea, that our heroes are going to run away?
I don't necessarily think so. I think there is going to be some kind. What we're going to see is, and this is kind of what always. There's going to be a variant of Galactus. That's going to be my guess. There's going to be a variant of Galactus. They're going to defeat that variant of Galactus. Oh, but wait, there's the real evil, sinister Galactus. This is what they tried to do with Kang. It didn't really land with Kang.
What are you talking about? Kang was not that big of a character. Don't worry about Kang. That was
never planned.
Never planned.
Kev knew that Kang was lame. He was always lame in the comics. He couldn't carry that threat, and Kev knew it the whole time.
That's right.
Yeah,
Ant-Man Quantumania
4-dimensional
never
chess
happened.
Here's that 4-dimensional chess, guys.
Never. No, the only reason he would let Ant-Man solo that dude is because he knew he was not the guy. That was the whole thing. Kev is a super genius. How dare you assault the genius of Kev?
Hey, Hope was there too. Okay, Hope was there too.
And Bill
Give
Murray.
Give Hope her due. Okay,
and giant ants, and some giant ants as provided by Hank Pym.
We wasted
Darren,
Bill Murray.
Darren, we can't forget Darren.
Yeah,
we wasted Bill Murray and MODOK in that movie.
Yeah.
For something that was not important. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. Let's see. Great to see you guys again. Are you planning to watch the movie this weekend? Yes, Hope. We are planning. Me and Tim are both going at different times tomorrow. When you hadn't bought your tickets yet? What time are you going tomorrow, Jason? Or are you going Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going tomorrow at 4:50.
All right. Yeah. See, I'm going at like 3:30. So we're gonna see it around the time. We're saving that money. We're going to the matinees, right?
That's right. Hey, it's expensive.
I will probably be going late.
No.
So
Tim likes to pay full freight to go see his Marvel
Tim says,
film.
I got money.
Yeah. The mouse needs he needs to feed the mouse his cheddar. That's what he's doing.
Right.
Hey, you know what?
Hey,
you gotta pay full price to go see my movies, all right? I make the best damn superheroes in the world.
Kevin Feige, let me tell you something, brother. Okay. You're going to get all $12.50 of my money.
And if the Thing does not say it's clobbering time, these 12.5-inch pythons
12 and a half inch Python.
You're gonna go, wow.
I don't know. I struggle to get to 12 and a half, guys. I don't think this qualifies as a Python anywhere. Okay. We're gonna
garden snakes.
These garden snakes.
yeah. I might have graduated to black rat snake. I don't know. But it's definitely not a Python. Okay.
We've gotten slappy.
I've got to say, though, I am very impressed that Disney kept a leash on Pedro Pascal. Like, he has not said anything stupid that I'm aware of.
No.
And-
The
and I
Johnny
think-
actor has been saying dumb stuff, but that's been months ago. Like,
Yeah,
they
it's
cracked
over.
down
They
on
got it
that
out of
shit.
their system.
Yeah.
The Sue, the lady that plays Sue, same deal. So I feel like at this point a lot of people kind of expect that because we're talking about liberal Hollywood. So there's always going to be someone that's just going to say something kind of off the cuff and kind of weird. So I don't think that affects the box office as much as people think. And you know, I really do think that the word woke is kind of one of those things that's just kind of a buzzword. People are looking for it. Yeah, a lot of times they're just like, is it woke? Was it woke? How? What about all the woke stuff? You know, and I feel like some people they're so almost woke paranoid about it. They're like, you know, Mr. Woodchuck from Full House when he was looking for wood. They're like that with woke. They're like, but is it woke? You know, and I just feel like we don't really need to get to that point where we're really asking about that stuff. When they have that agenda, it's very, very announced. It's very clear that they've got that agenda, right? When at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, I didn't need to say it was woke. It was very, very obvious that it had a woke tone,
Hey,
right?
Listen, Tim,
just all need to do better, okay?
I just went to like a Tuesday midnight showing to watch the Luigi Mangione story with fucking dinosaurs. Okay. So, I mean, sometimes they sneak the woke in there. Okay. Sometimes they sneak it in, you know, with the evil corporate CEO and how dare medical companies make any money. All right. So sometimes the woke gets buried. All right. But I do think Disney has learned because, you know, usually they have their cast members out there saying dumb things the week of release.
Yeah.
You know, they don't usually have them out there saying them 2 months ahead of time so that people can forget.
Yeah.
You know, and unlike Superman, at no point did Fox News spend a whole day and a half telling everybody not to go see Fantastic Four.
And it's because like you said, a lot of time has passed since those interviews. And there's been more people that have said stupider things since then. And so I do think that that's a big part of it. I think that the timing is everything. And Superman, unfortunately, had atrocious timing, not just for the press tour, but also when they released the movie. There were a lot of things they didn't think through. They cost themselves at least $150 million. And now we're looking at this movie and we're saying, well, kind of where is the floor? I mean, I feel like the floor for this movie, I feel like it needs to be Marvel's biggest grossing movie of the year, but that's not a huge ask, right? I mean, what?
Right,
we need to get to 6. We need to get to 6 for it to be the highest grossing film of the year.
I don't think we have to get that high.
I think.
Oh, really? I mean, you know,
I think it's like 550 or something crazy. Like
hold on. The highest one is Captain America, right?
No, I thought.
And it made what? No, Thunderbolts was only like 70 some million. Yeah, it wasn't
on
Captain America
opening weekend.
Yeah.
Brave New World.
But overall, I thought it grossed okay. It did like
it didn't. It 270 or something like that.
Oh, really?
270
wow. That's bad.
Yeah, it didn't gross well at all.
Let's see. Captain America, Brave New World, 415 was
Lord.
Captain America. Brave New World.
So if we get to 420, then it's the highest grossing film.
Blaze up.
Thunderbolts. Box office 371 for Thunderbolts.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, And
It
so,
was a
yeah,
good movie too.
it's not a tall ask, right? I mean, it's not a tall ask, but I do feel like it's not gonna have legs past this weekend. Okay, so they're gonna have to leave it out for a while, and they can now, right? Because Superman is about ready to die off. They can leave this movie out for a while and just kind of get the residual from it, but it's not gonna have legs past this weekend. It's just
That's
not.
the thing. Superman was just, you want to be first or you want to be last in a lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want
You
to
don't
be,
want
in
to be
the
in the
middle.
middle. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, because the first gets like all that big money up front. Like everybody's pent up. They want to have the big summer, whatever, and you're first and you get a bunch of, and then if you're last, you get to ride it out the longest.
Mm-hmm.
But the middle is just awful. I mean, and we don't have Jonathan on here to tell us that despite a semi-lackluster opening weekend, a slightly more than average drop was good.
Do you want me to hold my phone up to the screen just in his honor?
Let's all just hold our phones up to the camera in unity. So
here's the point that I want to make, guys.
It's right here on my screen.
Read this thing that I want you to read.
Yeah, I know it had a disappointing opening weekend, but an average drop is 50%, and this one only dropped 52. So, a slightly worse than average drop is really good, especially when you're open with bad.
We gotta give big props to our guy Jonathan. He takes a beating on this show, man. He does. He takes a beating.
Yeah, he does.
He
But he keeps on taking.
He does. He's like Rocky. He just keeps getting back up.
Yeah. He needs to hang out with Pied Piper over here. I think Pied Piper would like the films. They could have a Man of Steel mutual admiration society. Oh
my
shoot.
Goodness. Hey, wait, no. What were you gonna say? I was
go ahead.
I was gonna derail us. You go ahead first.
I was just gonna the Fantastic Four film. I don't know. I just did anybody else? I saw the trailer when I went to see Superman, and all of the jokes of the Thing not wanting to say is clobbering time.
I hated that. Hated it.
There, see, I turned to my wife and said, "I'm gonna hate this movie."
I think I told Haley that too.
Yeah,
like the Thing is like a top 5 Marvel character for me. Like I love the Thing, and just to have it be like, isn't this stupid? You know what it reminded me of? What? I remember being a young child. I was probably like 10 or 11. My dad took me to see X-Men, the first X-Men in theaters.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, they're like, "What do you want us to wear? Blue and yellow spandex?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, like, like don't crap on the thing I like."
Yeah. Well, that was just like this week.
But I gotta love X-Men '97 coming with the callback to that and having Cyclops say, "Well, what do you prefer, black leather?" I love that. That was that was great. So,
it was just like this week. Kevin Feige, our super Kev out there, like, "Oh, in the Blade movie, we didn't just want to put him in a leather suit and have him kill vampires." It's like, Kev,
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, you did.
That's what we want.
That would have been great. That's Blade.
That's exactly what you wanted to do.
That's who Blade is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, geez. But again, so can they, if the Thing hates saying it's clobbering time, is that the Thing?
No.
He's really,
and he's got the beard, and I don't like the beard. I do not like the beard.
I can already tell you how it's going to go, though, right? It's going to go that he's been fighting against saying it's clobbering time because it's turned into some ridiculous catchphrase and he hates the publicity from it. And it's just like every celebrity that hates being known for their own little thing, right? Like, like Dave Chappelle hates when you go up to him and say, "I'm Rick James," right? I mean, everybody has their thing when they become a celebrity that they hate. And then there's going to be some key moment where they're going to look at Ben and he's going to be like, it's clobbering time, guys. You know, I can just kind of tell that's the setup they're going for already. But I don't know. Yeah, the whole thing. There are things, like I said, the worst case scenario for me would be that I don't care for the character, and that's part of his character. So we would have to see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm scared they're gonna do? I'm scared they're gonna Avengers assemble it. I'm scared right before he says clobber in time, they're gonna cut to credits.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see them doing that. Like,
Yeah.
There's a few things about the Fantastic Four. The Thing is itching for a fight. He can't wait for a fight.
Always.
He's like,
always.
He's not the Hulk.
And usually with Johnny, like he loves fighting with Johnny. You know what I mean?
The Hulk wants to be left alone. That's his number one thing. He doesn't want to be in a fight. Even once he's in his giant rage mode, like he's still just wanting to like swat whatever is annoying him away and then go be him by himself. That's what the Hulk's home. The Thing wants a fight. He can't wait for a fight. That's why he screams it's clobbering time. Johnny likes to pester, and he actually kind of aches for a fight. That's why he screams flame on. It just goes off because he likes being a superhero. He thinks it's cool. So like the Thing has like some tragedy because he doesn't like being a rock monster, but he does like being super strong and invulnerable. So if you lose that, like that's so much of who he is, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I really, I'm going to go back to it. The idea that Johnny is not a womanizer, like that bothers me. That makes me think that you don't like the character. Yeah. Like, just like Snyder, when the first red flag I knew when I wasn't going to like Snyder's Superman, he said, yeah, my Superman's not going to wear his red trunks out in front of his, on his pants. And I was like, that's not the way to go about this. Like,
so I'm not always as like really into some of those details as some people are, you know, but there are things about the trailer that have given me pause, like the fact that Ben is wearing boots.
Free the feet.
I mean, you know, why? You know what I mean? Like your feet are rock. You don't need boots, you know, and just stuff like that. And I get it. There's been comics when that's been the case as well and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, there are just little things about the characters that I'm really looking to see. Like you mentioned Johnny, and I think the Johnny that you're talking about a lot right there is Chris Evans, right? Chris Evans gave a really good performance as Johnny. I personally thought he kind of went a little too frat boy, you know, bro. He went a little too frat bro type with Johnny. I would prefer somewhere in the middle, but where Johnny is clearly kind of the one that oversleeps and clearly is the one who is kind of a slacker and clearly is the one that, you know, they need because he actually is the one that is able to execute a lot of the stuff that they need done, right? And so it's kind of one. There's a little difference there, but at the same time, I haven't seen Johnny that of any rendition that I'm familiar with in the trailers. And that's kind of concerning to me.
Yeah.
I love
the Human Torch is one of my favorite characters. He was one of my favorite characters growing up. Yeah. So I really would want to see Johnny, you know.
I love Chris Evans Johnny. He is exactly the character from the early Spider-Man run. I don't know so much about the early Fantastic Four, but he is absolutely that dude that Peter Parker hates and thinks is a complete dick. He is that guy. He is the one that Spider-Man can't stand, and yet they become friends anyway over time. He is that guy, you know. And with the sports car and all the girlfriends, and nerdy Peter Parker thinks he's a douche. I mean, that's who Johnny should be, though.
Also, another thing, like that I found really odd in the trailer. And it could be cut up differently. I'm hoping it is. When they tell the Fantastic Four family that they're having a baby, the whole "you're late" thing, I'm like, none of my friends would ever ask my wife, like, "Are you late? Are you having a baby?"
Yeah.
I
think
was
we were
like,
talking about, like, are you
that's
late?
weird.
You're late for dinner.
Yeah.
And then
And she jumped, but it was just so odd. It was such a weird way to,
yeah.
There are other better ways in a trailer. You could have them be like, "What are you eating for two or something?" And that's better than "Are you late?"
Let's see. Nolan made 5 films in 7 years. Reeves has been writing the script for 1 film for 4 years and will be producing 2 more. I hope not. I hope not.
I heard a rumor that actually the reason that The Batman has taken so long is it's The Batman Part 2 and 3. Like it's 2 movies.
I don't care. I don't care. You can't make me care about the Reeves movies. I don't care.
I've never seen and will never see the Batman.
But there's so much Nirvana in it, dude. I love Nirvana.
I hate Nirvana. I hate Nirvana with
Where does
burning passion.
Where does Nirvana fit in?
Man, you know, one of the happiest days of my high school.
No, do not. No.
It was the day after Kurt Cobain killed himself. I was so happy watching all of the grunge people walk around all sad. I mean, they were all sad all the time anyway. I mean, that was part of what being grunge is being sad and mopey and just lame and shitty.
Whoa, hey.
I hated grunge music. I still hate grunge music. My wife likes it. And I hate it with the wife. If you're going to be sad, be a man about it and listen to country music and drink alcohol until you forget. Rock music is for being angry and happy. Those are the 2 emotions that rock music are for. You could be angry. You could be happy. You could be happy about being angry. Okay? But you should not be sad. If you're sad, get an acoustic guitar and there are 3 open chords and tell me about your life. That's what you need to do if you're sad. Okay? I don't need your.
All right. So,
yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I'm not going to get in a rabbit hole about the Reeves movies. What I will tell you is they're not good. All right. So this movie that we have already is just, it was a dark mess. It was terrible. The character of Batman is nowhere to be found. It was
there
awful.
Are things
and
that
then
I thought were cool, like that whole opening sequence where they're looking into the shadows trying to figure out.
No,
that's cool.
So
that's
you
cool.
love the whole prologue about all the people being scared about Batman, and then he walks out and the whole crowd of people just starts laughing at him. Is that you thought that was really awesome?
No, okay.
You thought it was awesome?
But the idea of them looking into the darkness.
You thought it was awesome that all these people were supposedly scared and everybody was scared about whether or not Batman was going to show up. Oh my goodness, everybody looks to the shadows and then Batman comes out and they all just die laughing.
Well, it's just one group and I didn't like that part of it.
It was stupid. It was stupid. The entire movie was stupid. The character of Batman was nowhere to be found. The whole film was an identity crisis. It didn't know if it was a procedural crime drama, didn't know if it was a suspense thriller, didn't know if it was a film noir. I could go on and on. It had no idea what kind of movie it was supposed to be, and you could tell by the time the movie was over, you sat there for 3 hours and it got nowhere. So
I will say
anyway.
I've only watched it one time. I've only watched it one time, and I will probably never watch it again. But
I've only watched it. I've only watched it none times, and I will never watch it any times. But I do have ironclad convictions about why there haven't been any more. And my ironclad conviction about why there haven't been any more is not that Reeves is working on a script. The script is probably already done, but I honestly believe that James Gunn, has never wants that movie to be produced. He didn't want it to come out. He has his own version of Batman to make in the wings. He understands that the public cannot hold two versions of Batman in the movies in their head at the same time.
They can't.
That won't work. That won't work. That would be like you had Sean Connery and Roger Moore playing James Bond at the same time.
But
Nobody's
why didn't
gonna
he kill it then? He had the opportunity to kill it.
He's the head of DC Studios. He's not
the head of Warner Brothers. Yep.
He has a boss. He has a job. If Superman made $1 billion, if it had opened to $300 million, the announcement that the Reeves Batman series was over would already have been made. I will die. You cannot convince me that this is not a fact. If he had, he has not performed. The Superman movie did okay.
Yeah.
And it will do okay. It did okay enough that the Supergirl movie is going to come out. It did not. Here's the thing. The performance of this film did not guarantee the entire slate in perpetuity. You know what I'm saying?
No.
They're not committing to 20 films deep. It bought him the next film.
Yeah, we might not get to Batman. We might not get to Batman.
I think we're going to get to Batman. I think.
Okay.
I really do think we'll get to Batman, especially if he announces it's Alan Rickson.
Yeah. But here's the thing: for him to kill the Reeves Batman series, Superman had to do 900 million, at least 850. And then you'd be like, my series is off to a great start. We don't want to confuse the public. We need to just cut ties with all of these other continuities so that we have a united vision. And my Batman is the only Batman. And Robert Pattinson's doing other stuff anyway. And you missed your window. And this is what we're doing. And he could have sold his bosses and his shareholders and everybody on that. But Superman is not going to make kill Reeves Batman money. It's just not.
And neither is Supergirl. Neither is The Authority. Clayface isn't going to get that kind of viewership. I mean, well, what is going to get us to that point? He's literally going to have to hope that they just don't want to do it. That's what he's going to have to hope, that he gets to the point where Brave and the Bold comes out and they'll say, we can't do another Batman. So
I think that the Superman performance is such that he gets to make Supergirl, but I think they fast track the Reeves Batman 2 now. I think that James Gunn behind the scenes has been doing everything he can to delay it and postpone it and push it back, and that's why it's taken so long. I don't think it has anything to do with Reeves writing the script. You know what I'm saying? I think that, he's pretending that that's what it is. They're both trying to play nice to pretend that's what it is. And he's been pushing it back, but now that he didn't perform huge, he just did okay. I think it gets fast tracked, and we see the Batman 2 by next year or the year after that.
That'd be crazy. I mean, I don't have diehard convictions either way, but I think they announce a new Batman, it will generate good publicity, unless it's just
I don't think so.
Wall.
And that's the thing. Gunn, I don't think is going to go for A-list Batman actor. I just don't think he's going to do it. I think he's going to go kind of like he did with Superman, where he's going to go off the beaten path. He's going to get somebody that fits the bill, could act the part well, but it's going to generate no public interest in and of itself.
And he gets Reacher, I think it would.
I don't think that's what he's going to do. I don't think that's what he's going to do. That's not who James Gunn is. I just don't think that's what he's going to do. So, he for his big characters like this, he's never really done that. And so
Chris Pratt was just the tubby guy on Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Well, and Chris Pratt, keep in mind, Chris Pratt, other than Jurassic World, what really big blockbuster billing did he have by then?
No, Guardians was before Jurassic World.
See, okay, so there you go. So
cast him in Jurassic World as a nobody.
He was the tubby guy on Parks and Rec. Yeah, he was Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec was a big show.
Yeah, but he was the tubby, stupid comic relief. He was, he was overweight and he was goofy. And and they cast him in Jurassic World, and they were just feeling like geniuses when he fell in their lap to release the movie. Like, oh, look what just happened with this Guardians movie. We've got the biggest movie star on the planet in our movie now.
I could see him doing Reacher. I really could. I think there's some, but there's
a lot of issues there. There's a lot of issues there because you've got to get Alan Ritchson to commit to at least a 10-year plan, which I don't know that he could. And then you've also got once again, the main issue that you have when you cast a well-known character is what we had when we had Robert Pattinson and Batfleck, and that's that people are already going to draw their own conclusions about what kind of Batman it's going to be before they even go in. And
I mean that's always been that with Batman.
But that doesn't need to be the case, especially if you go off the beaten path. And that's what James Gunn has done before. That's what I expect him to do, because I expect him to kind of cast somebody that nobody knows. I love Alan Ritchson, and I have said on this program several times that I think that he would be a fantastic Batman, but I just don't expect that's the direction James Gunn's going to go. And I don't think that he's going to get. I don't think that he would. I don't think that James Gunn's going to do that, and so because of that, I don't think that that's going to be the big win that he's going to need. You know, how did this turn into a James Gunn stream? I don't know what we're doing. Anyway,
what I've read, and I think it's telling, is that after the performance of Superman, the studio has insisted that they fast track Wonder Woman. So he wants to just fast track things based on the best script, and that's why they're going with Supergirl and Clayface. But the studio's like, nah, you're making Wonder Woman. The fact that the studio is fast tracking big name characters tells you they're not super happy about how Superman's doing. And the other thing it tells you, the fact that they picked Wonder Woman and not Batman for him to move up in the schedule tells you that they're going to give Batman back to Reeves and let him have his run before they let James Gunn have his take on Batman. That's why they're pushing Wonder Woman ahead of Batman. If they just wanted to get the DCU off to a roaring start after failing with Superman, they would be like, no, you got to make Batman next. Now, they wouldn't go Wonder Woman. They'd go Batman.
I just think there's got to be some smoke because his name has been thrown around with Batman since James Gunn came.
But there's a lot of fan casting smoke for a lot of stuff. I mean, how many times did we hear either Ben? Give me a second. Give me a second. Yes, we have seen it before, right? How many times did we hear Tom Hardy for Wolverine? How many times did we hear a lot of other stuff? It doesn't always happen just because there's smoke out there and fan castings happen. I've said it several times. I think he'd be a great Batman. I just don't think that's the direction James Gunn's going to go.
Hey, watch me get us back on track. How many times did we hear John Krasinski?
How many times did we hear John Krasinski?
They cast him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But is he in First Steps, or are we about to see Pedro Pascal try to be a nerd? So
that being said, Tom Hardy, not that I could be wrong. I could be. Tom Hardy didn't go like Alan. Is it Richson?
Yeah.
Rich Son.
Yeah.
Rich Son. Got it.
Yeah. There you go.
He went on like he's the one who started this. Like he said, I want to play Batman. Like, so it's different. Yeah. This isn't just fan casting. Like he's talked about wanting to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I threw out John Hamm. He had said that at one time too. So
God, I wanted John Hamm to be Batman so bad. God,
that
he has the chin for it. He has the chin to be Batman.
And he has the voice. He has the deep baritone voice.
Yeah, God.
Yeah. God.
Man, why didn't we cast Ben Affleck? We should have cast John Hamm.
John Hamm would not have been like, I'm not wearing hockey pants. He would have been like,
gosh, the Bale voice. Don't get me started on the Bale voice. I could do a whole soliloquy right now about why Bale was awful just because of the voice, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I think this movie is going to do relatively well this weekend, guys. I expect it to do about I expect it to do really well. I think maybe about 180 this weekend. Where are you guys kind of landing?
I'm just reading name briefs. It's like we graduated college. We got bad knees.
Cyberpunk is available.
Yeah.
He's saying Reacher would be an awesome Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm not big on the swole Batman.
He
We have had
kind of
this
is
argument
on that show.
I think the giant Batman is a tell. The same way the emo Batman is a tell.
But he's not really like that in real life, Dan. He's not really like that in real life. He's only like 6'4", 6'5" in real life.
Oh yeah,
okay?
he's
not
only.
He's
not
6'8". He's not like 6'8" like he is in the show. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
6'4" dudes, that are 3 feet wide. I see dudes like that every day, don't you? I mean, especially.
I mean, it's more common. It's more common than a 6'8" dude. Okay, that's built like a house. I mean,
Ben Affleck
I get it.
Got too big to be passable for me because when he's running around in that suit and BVS, I'm like, that's Batman. Like people should know that that's Batman.
Yeah.
You see how huge that guy is?
Well, it's really what I mean. The Batman mask has always been like the worst possible secret identity mask to me because I went as Batman on Halloween a few years ago, and I ran into people I had not seen in years, and they looked right at me and were like, "Him, right?"
Yeah,
and
like,
and it was just hilarious. It's like. It's just like I have a feeling that Bruce Wayne has encountered several people that were like, I know him, So anyway, I just always
whited out eyes is what we need. We need the whited out eyes, and
that's part of it. Also, like Batman talks to too many people in the movies. Like that's the thing. Like he needs to be in the shadows.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Anyway.
Oh, you were asking, I think 175.
180, 175. That's about it, I think. Yeah. What do you think, Dan? Where do you think we land this weekend?
I would have been all over like 160 or 70, but I went to buy tickets for this weekend because I had waited because I didn't think it was a big deal. And there were quite a few like sold out showings. For this, so I'm gonna go. I think it could pull in 200. I think it could get to 200.
Oh, wow. Okay, we'll see.
I don't think that they try to set these numbers high. I think they try to set them again, just like a big corporation. I think they look for beats. I think they like to beat the projection. So the fact that the projection calls 210, they might beat 210. I will not be shocked if they beat 210. So time will tell. Okay, here's my question. Will you be more surprised if it beats 210 or if it's good? Which one is would be more surprising to you, Tim?
Say at this point that I'd be surprised if it's good just because a couple people I trust have told me it's a pretty decent movie. So I would be more surprised if it beats 210 this weekend. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jason has kind of brought up some good points that this isn't going to be as big of a weekend as either of the weekends previous that have had really big grossing movies. So we had the 4th of July, then we had, people not being in school. We're getting people getting ready to go back to school. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get to 210, but I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I would be more surprised by that than I would if it's good. That's for sure.
Jason, what do you think?
That's where I'm at. Yeah. I would be more surprised by past 210 than it being good because I have a lot of people that I trust have said it's good, like that I listen to. So we'll see. I have such a low bar for Marvel projects. Like if it's just passable, like I'll be happy.
That's the thing. I am so jaded at this point, even though people I know personally and trust have told me it's good. I don't trust that. I don't trust that. I'm still over 50% convinced I will not like this movie.
Yeah.
I am so convinced. And you know what? The fact that I don't think I'm going to like it is inversely correlated to me thinking it's going to do very, very well.
Yeah.
I hated that Jurassic Park movie, and it's ruling the summer. I love the Superman movie. I don't mind saying I really liked it. I thought it was great.
And it's struggling. Yeah.
And it is struggling like crazy. And so the fact that I think I won't like it is very much tied to the fact that I think it's going to do very, very well. So, I mean, nobody's going to convince me that I'm going to like this movie until I've actually watched it. I think, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to be convinced that I'm going to leave the theater angry until I don't. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, I see that there's still some people out there. Do you guys have any questions before we start wrapping this stuff up, guys? I know that I'm appreciate you guys finding us, even though I screwed up the first stream.
My internet was awful. We cannot have a show where something doesn't go wrong. Like my lighting was awful last week.
Yeah.
It's just Disney getting us for talking about their IPs. That's all it is. So.
Yeah. Let's get this. Hold on. Media asset. Anyway, I just, what is that?
Kevin Feige, let me tell you something, brother. You better give me the best Fantastic Four I've ever seen, or these 6.5-inch pythons. I did a leg drop all over you. Hulkamania coming your way, brother.
Hulkamania is forever.
Right.
I am Dan. That is Tim. We are the Nerd Chants. Down below we have Jason. You will find him on the Your Imaginary Podcast. You find him on Instagram, right? Jason, what's the number, Jason?
I think it's. Hang on. Let me for sure. I don't want to send you to the wrong person.
Well, Jason checks the number. We're going to tell you to say your prayers, take your vitamins, and do your training.
Jason Galt 413 on Instagram.
All right. Remember, prayers, vitamins, training, and Tim, OH.
I-O, brother.
L State.